Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Every time we get together with her, I am fascinated and I learn so much more and more. Our animals are so important to us. They are like family. And with her help, you can communicate with them. It's amazing. I've experienced it. She's shown me how. And what we're going to talk about today is connecting with our animals and finding lost animals. We've all, I'm sure, or you know somebody that's been in that situation where an animal has run on, you can't find them, you put the posters up, maybe they come back, maybe you find them. It's all about the communication. She is an animal communicator, an educator. She is a medium, psychic medium as well, and she's Shirley Scott, and she's back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Steve. How are you doing?
Terrific. And this is one of those topics I can't believe we didn't talk about previously, because there's so much emotion and anguish involved when your animal goes missing. Finding them. That just the worry. Let's go right there to when an animal, you're contacted by somebody, their animal has disappeared, run off, whatever it might be. What's your first step in trying to get them back? And also, I'd love to talk about some of those success stories when you found them.
Sure. Okay. The first thing that, I need is like their name, breed, age, and then the city, state that they went missing from, and how old they are. Because all of that information helps me to hone in on the right dog or cat or whatever, because so many, animals have the same name and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and when I'm honing in on a lost animal, the parents, the humans, need to remember that many times I can only get the information that the animal is sending me. So if they're sending me, I'm in this field over here and I'm, headed toward a stream, I can see that and tell them that. However, when animals are sort of out of their comfort zone, they go into survival just like a wild animal would go into. And so a lot of times they will shut down and they won't show me where they are, because they know that if they're sending out a message to me, that a predator will know where they are too. Because when we send out telepathic messages, it's like it goes out into the universe and anybody can pick up on it. And that's why sometimes we get these weird ideas. We wonder where they're from, or, somebody in China gets the same idea for an invention as somebody in the United States. When we are telepathically communicating, anybody can pick up that thought. So when an animal is out there and they're scared and they're hungry or they don't know where they are, they could send me nothing, and it's really hard to find them at that time. Or like one time this little dachshund was missing, and I said, oh, he's under this place. He's under a little building, a little outbuilding, and I said, he can see sheep's feet, which I thought was great, because, maybe there's not many sheep. And the gal said to me, oh, she said, there's sheep branches all around us. It's like, oh no. So where do you go from there? So then you try to get deeper and deeper into where the animal might be. One time, this little pug was missing, and I think he was back in North Carolina. And now remember, I'm in Oregon, so North Carolina. And they called me, and I got in touch with this little pug, and I smelled old oil, like an old garage or, something had spilled of old oil. But I kept seeing this abandoned camper. And so I said, that doesn't make sense to me. And that's what I'm seeing. And I said, it's in a field. And she goes, I know right where that is. And they went there, and there was an old camper, and there were old oil barrels around the camper. But the dog was smelling the oil, and they went right to this dog. So, there are things like that are so easy. And then there are ones where the other day a Great Dane ran away, and it was a Great Dane puppy. And so, puppies are already kind of scrambled eggs for brains,
Uh-huh.
and didn't know where it was. It had just been adopted by somebody new, so it only been in their house like 24 hours. Didn't know where it was, had no idea what was going on. And it was really hard to try to find this dog because it wasn't giving me information. It was just like, okay, I'm over here, or I'm behind this bush, or, there wasn't even a complete outlook of where this dog was. So what I decided to do with this dog was I told it to start smelling its own tracks and track its smell back, because I figured it was about 2 or 3 miles away from where it had gone away, and it had been gone almost 24 hours. So I told it to start smelling its tracks back, and the next day she called me and she said, that he had come back, and they didn't know how he got back because he had no idea where he was. But the dog had actually taken my advice and smelled its tracks back and got within a close enough area where they found it. And those are some really good success stories. There are others where I will happen to see coyotes. And a lot of times when animals are out in the country, of course, they are just as prone to predators as any other animal. And since I have asked not to see blood, guts, and gore in my visions, I will see a coyote. And that usually means that dog or cat or something has probably gone in trouble with a coyote and is no longer around. But to find lost animals, humans have to understand that when an animal is out there, they go, well, why don't they just come home? Don't they love me? Don't they, When they're out there, they go into the survival. So they have to watch everything around them. Every movement could be death. Also, there are so many smells that even if they do start to come home, they can be distracted because, oh, there's a smell here, and oh, there's a smell there, and oh, And so pretty soon, if they are following their nose, they are totally lost someplace. And so then they don't know how to get home. And I suggest to everybody, I know there are a lot of people who are against chips in their animals, but I have had so many lost animals that are not chipped. And when other people find them and they take them in to see if there's a chip and there's no chip, the animal either just gets turned into the Humane Society with no information, or the people that found them keep them. You have no way of getting back to the parent. Plus, if an animal is actually stolen, when they are taken someplace, that chip has to be read. And by law, any rescue or vet's office, when they get a new animal, they have to read for chip. And if there's a chip, then they confiscate the animal until they get hold of the owner. That's a law.
Wow.
So it's really cool to do that. And nowadays they actually have some things that you can put on their collars that are GPS, so you would know exactly where your animal is. The problem is there are people out there that when they find an animal, they go, oh, the owner must not be taking care of them. So they will take off their collar or any identification, and they'll keep them. There are some very mean-spirited people out there, very mean. And so that will happen. But to get to the right animal, I'll tell you, I had this experience one time where somebody called me and they had lost a boxer. And so I got, okay, a boxer, how old, name. Well, these people called after about 3 days of working with them, and they had gone to where I had said. I had picked up every boxer in the area, and they had gone to like 4 different homes where there were boxers, but it wasn't theirs. So it's really important that when an animal communicator is looking for a lost animal, they have really some good detail, because you can pick up on other breeds or the same breed in the same area. Just because every boxer has like a consciousness of that breed, and so do German Shepherds and Chihuahuas and all of that. So you can pick up on that. But most animal communicators, I'm going to say, do not do lost animals anymore. It's very hard to do.
Wow.
Most of them charge way too much. If somebody tells you they're going to charge you $400 for a lost animal, run, because I'll do it for a lot less than that.
Yeah. But I love what you bring in that you bring so much insight that many of us don't even think about. It's not just about the communicating or the connection with the animal. Did I hear you correctly in saying that when you're trying to communicate with a lost animal, you pick up on the potential predator that might be out there?
Mm-hmm.
Am I hearing that right?
Yeah. Because when an animal feels or sees a predator, they will show me that, like almost help me, or I will get that there is a predator after them. Or a lot of times if the animal has crossed, because, I talk to ones that have crossed too, they'll be showing me that picture from the other side and saying, look, I'm already dead, I'm on the other side, but this is what happened to me. And humans also have to realize that if an animal dies out there, the chances of them finding their body are really slim. Even animals that are hit by cars, a lot of time, scavengers will get to, and you'll never see that animal again. And that's kind of hard because, for closure, they want to make sure that animal's gone. Now, I will say, like any other psychic, I'm not 100%. And if any psychic tells you they're 100% right all the time, you better run from them too.
Yeah. Well, to your point, when somebody says, "Hey, give me $400 and let me find that animal for you,"
Mm-hmm.
any medium worth their weight communicator, they will tell you that I can't guarantee it, and it's not about just the ability of the person; it's also about the animal and the connection and what they're throwing back there. Have you ever? And sadly, I feel that we need to go there. Have you ever got the vibe that an animal had passed on, and then if somebody was searching for an animal, and then it was confirmed?
Yes, I have gotten that. I have also gotten a vibe where I feel like the animal has died, and it didn't. There was one time when this gal was out walking in New Mexico, and she had her dog, and he had his backpack on, and she turned around to do something, and when she turned around, he was gone, like in 30 seconds. And she hunted and hunted for him, and didn't find him. And she got a search party, and she hunted for him for days. And she called me, and I said, I don't think he's there anymore. I didn't get him in the area, and I said, when I'm not getting him in the area, and you're searching, I said he's probably deceased. I hate to say that. And she, and she was a very spiritual person, and she said, I think you're right, too. I don't feel him here. And she searched for about a week out in the high desert country before she just said, he's not here. And she blamed herself for not watching him. But then 7 days later, these people called, and they had found her dog. Now, he was gone 7 days out in the wilderness with a backpack. He hadn't lost any weight. His backpack looked brand new, and it looked like he'd just been groomed. And we had no idea where this dog went. But he showed up again, and she took it as a very spiritual meaning that, you know what, I'm not treating my animal right, and I could lose him, but he came back. And it was the strangest case I've ever had in my life, because that dog, she said she couldn't believe it. It was like he'd been gone an hour.
Have you had that situation where the animal actually said that they're not, and I don't mean abuse, I just mean not paying attention to the animal, like where the animal said, I let the fence open. I just left. I'm just walking in.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, I have gotten in touch with some animals that have told me, don't find me. I don't want to go back.
Oh, that hurt.
I don't want to go back. And I will tell the client, as nice as I can. But usually when I say, there's something going on here and the animal wasn't happy at home, and they kind of go, and usually it comes out that the animal wasn't happy at home. They weren't happy with the animal. The kids were mean to it. It got left out in the backyard after it grew up from a puppy. All sorts of stories like that will come out. And if I tell them, well, this animal is in a really good home right now, because I will see that also. It's in a good home. It's happy. These people love it. Can you let this go? And I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, the people go, yeah, as long as it's okay.
You've said before that when an animal has gone missing, now it's in survival mode. Now it's elevated. It's I got to watch out for predators mode. What's going on? Let's focus on a dog for the moment.
Okay.
When they're out there, I take my dog and he's all over the place when it comes to smells. I'm going here, I'm going there, and I just let him go. I let him lead most of the time, unless I'm in a rush and it's like, all right, we're going to get your business done because Daddy's got to go to work.
Right.
But what are they doing? I've always wondered when it comes to animals and smells, what's going on there?
Okay. This is fun because a dog can smell, scents up to a week after they've been there. But all those smells, they can smell if it's a male that's been there, a female that's been there, what they've had to eat, if anybody's in heat, if anybody is a predator that they need to watch out, all in one smell. I mean, we say, dogs go up to other dogs and sniff their butt, but in that smell, they can figure out who that dog is, if they're happy, sad, kind, if they have to watch out for them, just about everything from that one smell. So when dogs are out there, you can just imagine they'll smell a mouse that was running by. They might smell a raccoon, another dog, another cat. They'll smell a bird. A lot of them can smell earthworms. So all of these smells, and their nose is just to the ground going, oh, what's that? And oh, what's that? And dogs are very, very vision and smell stimulated. And so it just opens up this world to them of all these smells, even if they don't really know what that animal is. Then they can smell it though and figure out there was something out here that is different than me. It's not my smell. And if there's a marking, like a lot of dogs will mark, or cats, then another dog will come along and mark over it just to hide that smell or just to take dominance over it.
What is with an animal that has been missing, anything else that has come up for you that was just mind-blowing and then was validated?
Let's see. There are so many of them because I do a few hundred a year.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. Oof. And so it's sad sometimes that I can't find them. And I have to say, I'm about 75% accurate. But that's why I know I'm 75% accurate, because people call me and they'll say, yes, I found them. There was somebody that called and they had lost a husky, and they were in a high country where there was snow, and I told them where to go, and they did find it. I can't remember all of it. Another one's coming to mind. One of my first ones I did, a friend of mine had called, and his dog had run away, he thought. And I said, the dog is in a 5-mile radius. I said, in a older home. And I said, there seems to be a lady watching over this dog. And I said, go around to everybody and knock on their door. And they lived out in the country. And he went to all his neighbors, and he calls me back, and he said, nobody has her. And I said, no, she's in a building. And I said, it's not a barn. It's a house, and there's a lady there. And he said, well, the only place we didn't go is this abandoned house over here. And he said, it's about 5 miles down the road. And I said, go there. So down they go, and there is this dog in the abandoned house, and the only thing I can say is I think there was an angel or a guide from the other side watching over this dog, because he said he went in, and the dog was perfectly fine, a little bit scared, a little bit hungry, but that's where the dog was.
Wow.
there's another one where one of my clients called and she said my cat's gone, and I sat there and said, your cat is across the street. Now she didn't live in a very busy neighborhood. I said, across the road from you, in the shed where there's wood, like a wood shed.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, no, he wouldn't go there. He doesn't cross the street. And I said, no, he's there. And she says, no. If he heard me calling, he'd come. And I said, no, he can hear you calling, but he's so scared that he's not moving. I said, you're going to have to go grab him. You're going to have to trip over him. And she said, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I said, okay. So she goes over to this wood shed, and here is her cat up on the wood, absolutely petrified. Mm. She walks over, she picks him up, she calls me back, and she says, damn it, you were right again.
Oh, my gosh.
But that's what animals do. You almost have to trip over, especially cats. When cats are scared, they will hunker down, and they don't usually come when you call them. You have to actually find them, because cats get into this survival of, they have to watch the sky for the birds, and they have to watch for the dogs and the, skunk and everything. And so they're really in this shutdown survival.
It's almost I joke around, I say this squirrel mentality where you see something, you look that way, another way, look that way. It seems that these animals are animals. That's what they do when they're out there. They're looking everywhere. They're trying to pick up on everything, every situation, and losing track of the fact that they're out there. They're lost. They know they are. They're not home, but they have a different focus. I'll tell you, I wish I knew you back when my cat had disappeared, and he at the time was only about maybe 5 months old, and my daughter had left the door a little ajar. I was outside. I come back. I can't find him. Now I'm in a panic. Now I'm walking all over the neighborhood. I'm asking people, have you seen him? Hours had gone by. I was even looking up at trees. Maybe he's up there. And then, I have this fear.
He was in the house, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
I got it right away.
Yes, he was. I came back, and I'm sitting on the couch. Gonna be honest, was getting a little teary. Like I there he is, and what's he thinking? And is he scared? And all of that. And I thought I heard a noise, and then I heard a meep. I'm like, is that him? And he comes walking down the steps. And I was like, yeah, there he is.
I have had that happen with cats. It's unbelievable. A guy called me, about a year ago, and he was in a panic. And his cat was about 5 months old, and the love of his life. And he's Shirley, and he was a regular client. My cat got out. And I said, what do you mean your cat got out? And he said, I can't find her. I can't find her anywhere. And I said, well, she's not out. And he goes, yeah, we've looked all over the house. I said, no, you haven't. I said, there's a place in the bathroom. And I said, it's way back in the corner. There's a little cubby hole back there. I said, she's back there. Mm. And he went and looked, and there she was.
Unbelievable. I'm glad we talked about this today, because let's be honest, even if you're the best parent of your pet, it could happen. It could happen. And just it's more of a reminder to be more careful. Like myself, I watch every door now.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't, but even more so now. But you are available there if this does happen to happen. How do we find you? What's the best way to connect with you, Shirley?
Best way is go to my website, which is my first and last name with a hyphen, so it's shirley-scott.com. And there's a contact page, and email me, and we can set up a session. And literally, if you have a lost animal, please get hold of somebody before, it's like somebody called me one time and said, well, they've been gone 2 weeks. Or one gal called me, well, he's been gone a year. In that amount of time, you're not probably going to find that animal. Especially if they've gone to a house where they've settled in, they feel safe, they're getting cared for, they're not going to send me messages that they're lost or anything. So as soon as you think your animal is lost, please contact somebody.
Time is of the essence.
Yes.
That's what I get from you. Shirley, thank you so much. And by the way, this is just a piece of what you offer. You know, we're talking about extreme situations here, but for anybody that just wants to communicate with their pets, be more connected, and also if you have a rescue, want to find out what their history is and why they act the way they do. There's a reason, and you can uncover it, and also you can help people learn how to communicate as you did for myself. And by the way, thank you for your transparency in all of this, you know, and even saying, you know, you can't do it every single time, you know.
Nope.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Have you ever wondered what your pet is thinking? Have you ever wanted to tell them something? Do you want to know what is going on in their world? Shirley Scott can help you talk to your animals. As an animal communicator with over 20 years of experience, she knows the questions to ask. She gets the answer right from the animal without letting her human emotions or judgments get in the way. Shirley can help you understand what your pet is trying to tell you. She can help with behavior issues, health problems, and other communication that might help the pet's human understand them better. Her books range from how to deal with ghosts and demons, how to talk to disembodied spirits, a workbook on how to become more positive so you can live a better life, a new children's book written from her goat's point of view, and even an animal communication CD. All of these and more are available on her website. Find out more about Shirley by going to her website at shirley-scott.com. or email her at scott@shirley-scott.com. You'll find that Shirley is friendly, honest, and comes from a positive point of view. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.